morning, gang. It's Will here with the Get Fit Challenge podcast. We're here in Sacred Heart School, sitting here in Dr. Register's office. Today we're going to be talking about a few things, not only with the Sacred Heart School District, but about the youth and how exercise and nutrition is important for youth during the school year, also during the summertime, and how it also affects these students when it comes to their athletic training. I'm here with my friend Amanda Blackburn. She is the athletic director here at Sacred Heart Schools. So welcome today.
Thank you for having me,
So
Will.
how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic.
Good.
So I was thrilled when you contacted me to discuss kids and staying fit, staying active, and nutrition. So just to tell you a little bit about my position here, I am wrapping up my first full year here at Sacred Heart as the athletic director, and I'll of course be starting my second year. I have 15 years experience working with youth sports management, and so for me, it's a passion.
Absolutely.
It is 100% an investment in youth and giving them opportunities to play, opportunities to stay fit, opportunities to be part of a team, build character, all those collateral elements that play into helping them succeed.
So your passion has really been youth.
Absolutely.
You know, because you when we're talking off camera a little bit, you know, you were with the Park and Recs and the Cloverdale.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about your experience with that.
Okay, so my experience with Paul Clover Soccer Association roots back to about 15 years ago when my children first started playing youth sports. And what I realized is how important it was for kids to stay active, for them to prepare as athletes for competition. And when I say prepare, it doesn't just mean you're getting ready for a game. It means you're eating right. It means you're making good decisions. It means you're listening, you're coachable. So all those elements that play into it. And so I had previously been an athlete in high school as well. But quite honestly, until that point, I hadn't transitioned that into how important it was for youth to have all those benefits. And so that started a 15-year long career in making sure that I worked hard to provide opportunities within our community. And so the goal is to provide opportunities at all levels, which is something I'm incorporating here as well. So we have kids 3 to 5 that we run programs with. We have youth recreational leagues, we have competitive opportunities, and then we also have a program for children with disabilities.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure nobody is left out on an opportunity to participate and get all the benefits they get from being active and participating in youth sports.
Very good. So let's go back to the youth sports side. You know, I did a lot of sports when I was growing up, and that was kind of my niche. You know, I struggled with a lot of things in school. You know, the grades weren't the best. However, when I started getting into the sports side, it just seemed like my whole life kind of changed. You know, I started working a little bit harder, not only for the sports, but also because you can't play sports unless your grades are at par.
That's right.
So that's a motivation for these kids to also do good in the classroom. But what are some of the things? Why is it important for not all kids have to do competitive things?
Correct.
But why is it important that you found that sports and competition is important?
I think it's important for many, many reasons. So you hit the nail on the head with a big one. So in school and participating with athletic programs, you are held to standards academically. So you're required to maintain grades. And then in addition to that, there's also an expectation for behavior.
Yeah.
So it's calling on students to bring forth the best of themselves so that they can be part of a team. So when you're in school athletics, you all of a sudden are a teammate, you're a role model to the younger students, and so you have many different roles that you're taking on that are going to help build character that will help you succeed. I very much so think that participating in sports drives students to succeed. And it also gives them opportunities to build habits that are going to stick with them and stay with them for many years to come. And a lot of that is being physically fit, it's gaining self-confidence, it's learning to be coached, learning to work as a team. So there are many character traits that come into participating in athletics, but it's also building healthy, good habits
Absolutely.
for the rest of their life.
And when you talk about, what do we want for our next generation to come up? One is, they have to be, they always say a coachable person is going to be a good employee. That way they understand the difference between criticism and, improvement and constructive criticism. Usually the kids that aren't coachable are going to have that same sort of ideal when they grow up, is they don't like to be told things.
Or the rules don't apply.
Or the rules don't apply to them. But also the fellowship. Some of my best friends that I still have to this day are people that I participated in sports with.
Right.
So it does build that fellowship as well. So right now we're in summertime. It's July 6th today or 7th today. So, this is where a lot of these kids are home. They're not in a structured environment. What are some of the things these kids that you notice that are different between the school year compared to when the summertime happens?
Yep, that is a great subject to bring up. I'm really glad you did. So, of course, during the school year, we have them here.
Yeah.
We have them at our constant disposal all the way from the Gremlins daycare all the way up to the 12th grade. And so when we have them here, I'll start with the littles. We have our PE classes, we have healthy lunches, we have healthy snacks that they're getting on a regular basis. And so we're able to have them engaged in all of those activities consistently. And same with the high schoolers. We have them here in the morning before school for practices, different conditioning. We have them here during the day for PEs, live sports, other things that we're doing. And then we have them after school for practices as well.
And events. Yeah.
And events.
Yeah.
And when summer hits, it is much more challenging to engage students into keeping that structured routine. And so we have a few things that help with that. So with the littles, we are unique in the fact that we have K-Singer youth sports. Okay. So while we don't have them here regularly for the school day, we do have them participating in athletic opportunities through our youth sports program.
Okay.
So they're able to do that year round. We have volleyball, basketball, baseball, and softball.
Okay.
So currently they're still playing baseball and softball. So we're still trying to make sure that they're getting regular practices, that they're getting that routine of staying active. And so for the high school kids, it looks a little bit different.
Okay.
So we talk a lot about being dedicated, about working hard. Kids will hear me say this, coaches will hear me say this, success is built in the off season.
Absolutely.
And I preach that, and I preach that, and I preach that. So we have wonderful coaches, and that's a key piece, is making sure that we have the right people in the right places who can help our students meet their goals, help them to continue to develop, and get them here.
Absolutely. And with Sacred Heart, you guys do have a legacy of performance on sports.
Correct.
This last year there was also some great success as state champions in the girls golf.
Girls golf.
That's an amazing feat when you think about it. But over the past 100+ years that Sacred Heart's has been an affiliated school, you guys, there have been some successes.
Oh yes, it's a legacy for sure.
It does, but it makes your guys' job a little bit tougher, being the fact that you are a smaller school in this area. So you do have to co-op with some schools. How does that work out, and how has that been for you guys so far?
Okay, that's a really great question. So co-oping is a really unique situation that Missouri State High School Association they pursue to give smaller schools opportunities to have athletic teams where they otherwise would not.
Yeah.
So some of the key pieces that I absolutely love about the co-op element are small schools have rivalries.
Okay. Yeah.
So in the K-Singer Conference, we have 11 schools.
Okay.
And it may be, Lamont's your rivalry, Hughesville's your rivalry. But you see that carried on for generation after generation after generation. They may not know a single student here, but they'll be like, oh man, we hate to play it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so co-oping has been amazing because it's bringing schools together. It's bonding students, it's bonding coaches, and it's slowly killing a stigma that previously existed when kids are forced to work together to have an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And it's been so fun to watch. So we co-op currently, just to give you an idea of what we're doing. So we co-op football with Hughesville.
Okay.
And so that's for 8-man football. And we have varsity and we have junior high.
Okay.
And then we co-op softball with Lamont.
Okay.
And then we co-op girls swim with Cole Camp.
With Cole Camp, okay.
We do. So we have it all across the board
Yeah.
where we've had opportunities to combine. And it's really cool from the coaching side because a lot of times you've got people that are passionate about that program, about that sport. And then to see great minds come together, the kids are getting the best of both. And they're thriving for that. So our softball team was more successful than it's been in quite a few years, and I do contribute that to the co-op.
Absolutely.
And so that's been really awesome. Our state swim team, Cole Camp, she ended up going to state.
Very good, very good.
The swimmer from there, and so they've accomplished a lot of great things together.
Absolutely. Logistically wise, is it pretty tough to manage the co-op side of things?
It can be sometimes. So specifically like with Cole Camp, we had to work with them to make sure students had transportation. That's probably the furthest one away. And with Hughesville, we practice out there. We don't have
practice that at Hughesville.
correct.
Okay.
We don't have a football field at our disposal.
Right.
And so we have to arrange student transportation out there daily for them to be able to practice.
Yeah.
And with Northwest and Lamont, they also have 4-day school weeks, so they get out of school at a different time than we do. So a lot of coordination goes into making sure that all students can be at practices at the same time.
Okay.
And then making sure that they're at the right facility to meet their needs.
Right.
So like, as an example, when we go downstairs here in a few minutes, you're gonna meet Coach Crooker.
Okay.
He's our PE coach, but he's the head football coach. And so the football program does all of their conditioning here.
Okay.
But when we do team camp, when we play.
You go to Hughesville. Very good.
Correct.
Well, that kind of alludes us to something else that we're doing here. We're also going to go downstairs. There are some. We're going to go over some off-season training that's going on downstairs with what was the coach?
Coach Crooker.
Crooker. There we go. Coach Crooker. Talk a little bit about some off-season training that the kids can do. But what can give us some ideas that with the parents at home right now? What are some of the things that these kids can do right now during the summertime to keep them going on the athletic side and the health side?
Oh, that is a great question. So I will promote this to my head. But eat healthy.
Eat healthy.
Eat
Absolutely.
healthy. Don't make bad decisions. Have healthy snacks available in your home so that kids have healthy options that they can choose from. Personally, like at our home, I don't buy the junk food because not only will they eat it, I will eat it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So have healthy snacks available. Even though it is light later, try and eat your meals at a normal time. Don't eat dinner at 9 o'clock at night. Especially don't go through Taco Bell drive-thru.
Absolutely.
At 9 o'clock at night. Eating healthy is the number one element of staying physically fit and staying active and healthy. The second part of that is just stay active. Participate in programs, participate in sports, go to the park, go to the walking trails. There are so many opportunities for kids to stay active. So I know that right before we let school out, I have a sports corner that I put out. And that was one of the big things that I put in that and promoted were all the opportunities that I knew of.
For the summertime, yeah.
Correct. And so you can do tennis camp at the Parks Department. You can do swimming lessons. You can do soccer camp with Paul Clover. You can do private soccer training, one-on-ones. There are basketball camps. There are so many opportunities, and a majority of these are extremely affordable, or their scholarship programs available.
Yep.
So all these programs are designed for kids to stay active and never to eliminate anybody from the opportunity of participating. And so we try and get that word out, but eat healthy and stay active. And so limit video game time.
And that's, you mentioned two things. One is eating healthy and having the right food in the house. I'll have all the right food in my house, but I also have the Pop-Tarts and the chips. I notice if I have those other things that are in the house, that's what seems to get what the kids choose first.
Yeah, kids are amazing. Yeah. They do. That always shocks me. Mine do too, even at the age of 5.
Yeah.
They will pick frozen grapes over Pop-Tarts.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
get get rid of the bad stuff, get the good stuff in, and also just stay active. Stay off the video games. Those video games. I can't really understand what these kids go through because these video games weren't around when I was their age.
Me either.
You know, so
I can't relate.
No,
it's not relatable.
But you know, I've read studies before that the addiction factor with these kids' video games is almost like a drug to them. You know, and we don't really understand because we never grew up with that. So really, shut the video games off and just go outside.
Right.
Go outside. You know, go to the swimming pool, go for a walk, go play with your dog, go ride bikes with your friends. Get off the TV, get off the video games. So those are just little things that I've noticed that can make a big deal. But it's so hot for these kids.
It is. We've been relatively lucky this summer, but there's also lots of indoor activities that they can participate in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So because of heat, we do modify a lot of what we're doing here in the fact that we do things in the mornings or we do them inside.
Absolutely.
So there's still lots of opportunities regardless of the heat, but as always, be careful, drink lots of water, and that sort of thing. But it just boils down to making choices.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go downstairs here right now. We're going to talk a little bit about some exercise opportunities that are there, some things that these kids can work on. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with you. Hey gang, welcome back. We are here in the weight room here at Sacred Heart. I've got a few guests with me today. We're going to be doing something a little bit fun. We're going to talk a little bit about some training that's going on right now. And then our great friends here, they're going to show us some of the moves that they've been doing here in the off season. So I'm joined by Coach Crooker. He's here with Sacred Heart. I've got Caden, and we got Pearson. Pearson. All right. They're student athletes here with Sacred Heart, and also you guys do also co-op. You're a co-op with Hughesville. Hughesville, okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Unfortunately, Pearson just did a max on his deadlift, so we didn't get that access. But they're going to be going over some moves and stuff that they're doing here in the off season. So, Coach, tell me a little bit about how this off season is going, and what are some of the things that you guys are doing?
Right now, we've been one of the best years we've had. Have lots of kids showing up, working hard. But the things that we'd like to do is a lot of explosive lifts, powerlifting ideas, concepts with just some standard lifts. I mean, it's nothing new. It's just coming in here and working hard, using the right technique and form. And we do a lot of technique. We try to make the kids do it the proper form and live it the right way. And these guys have really taken off over the last couple of years. I've been lucky enough to work with these guys for several years, so it's been fun to watch them grow.
Absolutely. When I was growing up, our training was, on Mondays we did bench and power clean. The next day we did deadlifts and squats, and then we went bench and power clean, deadlifts. So we did the four moves. We didn't really work a lot of the explosions and things like that, and some of the other techniques. What's been some of the different training that you've noticed since we were in high school?
For me, it's just the consistency. We had a weight room. I don't think we used it real well. So with these guys, we're using it 4 days a week, and like you said, nothing's really changed. It's just the approach, I guess. We do a lot of the same things that you're talking about with the split, and our guys just really benefit from it. And I think the biggest thing is probably eating better, eating cleaner. There's just more things that are accessible. There's so much stuff on YouTube, you can steal ideas. So we do the same core list, but then we implement some different things in there.
Box jumps and everything like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Speed ladder, box jumps, dot drills.
Do you train them differently based on the sport that they're in, or is it pretty consistent for all the different sports?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, so if you come in here and you lift, it's going to help with whatever sport you do. So we don't really do any sport-specific stuff. I'm sure when they get to the next level, probably they might get into more stuff like that. But here we just try to teach them the core, so whenever if they do go on, they'll know how to fit into the college. And then free safety.
Do you guys have any college plans when it comes to sports? Did you figure it out? If you had it all figured out right now, you'd be ahead of the game. So what's your favorite lift that you like to do?
Probably
Deadlift. Okay. What about you? Bench. All right. Well, maybe here shortly we'll put some weight on the bar and see what you guys got. And also we'll talk about form and why form is so important. And when we're talking deadlift, they say is one of the best movements you can do. It's the most functional movement that a person can do. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the foundation. Whatever whatever sport you're gonna play, it starts with the legs. And if your legs are strong and develop, you're gonna be a good athlete. And Pearson, he has excellent form in the deadlift. He's super strong. It's surprising how strong he is. And he can jump really high. I mean, if you watch him play basketball this winter, he's able to dunk it pretty easy.
Very good. Awesome.
So it's all about how much force you can apply to the ground.
So, exercise and the calisthenics behind it is important, but let's talk diet. Let's talk nutrition. When you guys are out here performing, you guys are putting your bodies to the extreme. Is there any sort of change in diet that you had your athletes on compared to what a normal person would be eating?
So we talk to them about diet, and then it kind of falls upon them. But I think the guys that are more interested will pay attention more, or the females that are more interested will pay attention more, and kind of listen in and follow that. We have so many opportunities now to eat right. Like here in town, there's multiple places that provide a good service of So these guys is right here, it's readily available. And I know that these guys go to some of those shops and buy from back up.
So, guys, are you guys ready to get put through a workout this morning? All right.
This is like the foundation for doing your power cleans because it's the same thing, the same start. And we like to use the lists that complement other lists. So we like to do deadlifts to help us do a heavier power clean.
Okay.
So this is the foundation for it. And sports like basketball is like rebounding. I mean, the explosion to jump up. I mean, it's a great lift. One of the oldest lifts.
Yeah, essentially, you're getting down in the jump position. Yeah. So this is where the force comes from. Is from your your quads, your hips, your thighs.
Yeah. Go ahead and do that.
So on the form side, what are some of the things you're looking at when he gets set up there?
Well, we like the shoulders higher than the bottom there, and then we're looking for a nice flat back, and looking for that throughout the lift. But anytime the butt gets higher than the shoulders, you got problems.
Okay.
So it's going to lead to lower back injury. So on his form, on the way up, when he does it, we want the same posture as the way as it goes down, because kids can get hurt putting the weight down if they're using heavy weight.
Okay.
So let's hit that a few times, Pearson. Right now, he's doing it, not using a belt because the weight right now is not, heavy enough for him to require a belt.
Okay.
Once he gets, if we're doing a max out or using heavy weight,
You put the belt on.
Yeah, absolutely. This is for insurance. This is for don't want to get hurt. We want to get our athletes stronger. We don't.
Kid, pull it. Good job. I can definitely see when you're using yours, your hip movement right here, all these flexors right here are definitely engaged. So absolutely. So you say your best lift is the bench press.
Yeah.
And the bench press is also a good staple because it focuses on that in football, that push motion when you try to push somebody away. So we'll
Finish your block.
Yeah, finish your block, exactly. Get that out there. So we're going to go ahead and transition and watch you guys do a couple bench.
Bring it to the sternum area. All right, lock it out. So let's have one guy spot.
And also, Coach, let's talk when they're up here, before he goes, maybe just kind of get in there when somebody is going to bench press. What are some of the things that, before you do one rep, what are some of the fundamentals behind it?
So it took, just like anything, lots of years, just going through it, refining it, and getting it right. But years ago, we had BFS come and do a workout, trained us, I guess.
What was that called?
Bigger, faster, stronger.
Oh, BFS. Okay, yeah.
Actually came to our school and went through a whole thing. And I don't know, as a coach starting out young, it was just you just want to get in there and get lifted. But there's so many little things you have to go through. And it's the eyes under the bar, measuring off with his thumbs. Anytime they come and lift, they're always he's going to measure off with his thumbs. Eyes will be directly on the bar. And then he's going to unrack it. He's going to bring it to the sternum area. All right, and he's going to lock it back out. All right, get a full range of motion. Earlier in too high. Puts way too much stress on the shoulders and cause an injury. So we went back and got a little smarter, I guess, and learned the proper way to how to do it.
You come essentially you kind of come down right to your sternum.
Yeah, we
right
come
here.
a little bit low, just right in this area.
Okay.
Yeah. And for everybody's gonna be a little bit different. You can kind of get out there and move the bar around to feel where the right spot is. But yeah, too many times kids bring it too high, way too high, and we gotta get them bring it a little bit lower.
And so the fundamentals behind the bench press. What in the world of baseball and football and basketball, why is the bench press so important?
Well, for football, we call it like when you block and you lock out finish a block, and get the extension with the arms to get the separation. And that goes the same thing on offensive defense. Defensive line, you want to be able to punch, lock them out too. For Pearson, a wide receiver, tight end, it's blocking, or if he's at the wide receiver spot, just stock blocking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also just push them away from you so you can release. All right. Who's up next?
There you go. Hop in there, PT.
So it's important that you also have a spotter
Yeah,
for something like this.
Absolutely. You should measure off the sun, his eyes on the bar. That's what okay, using the ring. That's fine. That's good.
So I noticed when he was out there, he didn't lock all the way out. When you keep that lock, what's the difference between locking all the way out to this?
The locking all the way out, it just depends on what you look at on the web. There's so much stuff on there. But when we do our max out stuff, they have to fully lock out. But some people claim that engages the muscle the whole time.
Yeah.
Because when you lock all the way out, you're letting off. When you keep it in between, it just engages the muscle the full time.
Time under tension.
Yeah.
So if you don't lock out, you kind of come to right here. Essentially, your chest is still holding that weight. When you're locked out here, the joint's really holding. So you keep it bent a little bit, then that time under tension with your muscles is going to get that much more work with it.
But anytime we do a 1 rep max, we would make them lock it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's good. Like anything, if you research it, they're going to say this is better than this. But as long as the kids are in there, they're working hard, and getting a good workout, and we're happy.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you giving us some time today. Gentlemen, good luck in this next year with your guys' athletics, but also with your academics, too. So thanks for taking some time and spending it with us. Again, gang, this is Will Weibert with the Get Fit Challenge, and I am challenging you to get fit.